We have had so many distractions lately, from the Las Vegas massacre to Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria, that a lot of us have not spent a lot of time thinking about the Equifax data breach. If you haven't, you should. Haley Wilgus explains why.
We put our trust in corporations every time we apply for a loan or open a new account, even just log in to check our credit. But our personal information is at risk. This past summer, the largest data breach in U.S. history hit Equifax. So how did it happen? Former CEO Richard Smith testified before Congress last week with his version of the story.
The criminal hack happened on my watch, and as CEO, I am ultimately responsible, and I take full responsibility.
Former Equifax CEO Richard Smith says on March 8th, a cybersecurity arm of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security informed the company of a flaw in a web tool called Apache Struts. The company uses it to support its online dispute portal, where consumers go to contest information about their credit reports. The very next day, Equifax says it sent an internal memo that a patch was available, and Smith says one specific employee failed to communicate to the IT department that the patch needed to be deployed.
We know now that this criminal attack was made possible because of a combination of human error and technological error.
That technological error happened on March 15th, when Equifax's scanning system did not pick up the vulnerability in the Struts software. Why that happened is still being investigated. Those two things combined allowed hackers to gain access to the personal information of millions of customers between May 13th and July 30th. Names, social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, and some driver's license numbers.
I'm here today to say to each and every person affected by this breach, I'm truly and deeply sorry for what happened.
Smith testified that Equifax has spent $250 million over the past 3 years on beefing up its data security, going from no cybersecurity staff when he became CEO to a 225-member team. But Equifax continues to face criticism for its handling of the breach and its aftermath, sending customers to a website that many said did not accurately tell them if their information was compromised.
In the rollout of our remediation program, mistakes were made, for which, again, I deeply apologize. I regret the frustration that many Americans felt when our websites and call centers were overwhelmed in the early days.
Every day we wake up and there's another data breach. And I don't know about you, but I'm fed up with this.
Consumer watchdog Jerry Zivick says he's skeptical about the free service Equifax is offering to customers starting in January of 2018.
They're coming out with this new product where you're going to be able to unlock and lock your account at will. Now, who in their right mind would think that you could trust Equifax to do this? They have not demonstrated the technical savvy to do this.
So what can we do as consumers to protect ourselves? There's one simple thing you can do today.
On our own personal level, there's very little we can do, but what we can do and what we don't do is we need to change our passwords.
Zivick also says you should file your tax return as soon as possible so that someone who may have stolen your information doesn't beat you to it, and do what you can to protect your credit.
You have to do a credit freeze. And a lot of companies will pay every time you freeze and unfreeze your account, but if you want to protect yourself, that to me is the only way to do that.
A small investment that could pay dividends when it comes to keeping your identity and your money safe. Haley Wilgus, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.